This is the Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
This is the Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
Pretty amazing how investigators just keep upping their game. They're able to use new forms of technology, and they constantly implement it because the goal is to bust these murderers, these criminals, in as small amount of time as possible so they can move on to the next one.
Brian Koberger is in Moscow today. He's in court. They arrested him after everyone seemed to have been talking about the very mysterious murders that happened at a house party with a bunch of college students. 4 slain from stabbing. Very strange, not knowing who did it, what the reason was behind it. How they found out is so wild to me. It's called genealogy. They found the unidentified DNA because they ran it through a public database to find potential family member matches from people who have done things like 23andMe.
Oh.
So it's not even him. It's not his literal saliva.
Right.
Somebody who's related to him, who's done one, probably just not like nonchalant. Oh, well, let's find out a little bit more about our
Let's find out if
history.
Uncle was from Wales or
Exactly.
England. Yeah.
And that's how they caught him.
Insane.
His DNA was everywhere. Apparently, he majors in criminology, psychology, and a bunch of other fellow students said he's usually very chatty when it comes to criminals. He's obsessed with them. Yet when they brought up this mysterious case in class, he was really quiet. He didn't say a word.
Strange.
Some other strange things that he did for weeks after the murder, he was wearing gloves everywhere.
Didn't want his fingerprints anywhere, I guess. And he got pulled over by a couple cops, and his answer was a little sketchy there too, right?
Yeah, so they pulled him over. He was driving with his dad, and they're like, "Where are you off to?" And he's like, "We're going for Thai food," which is just a really weird thing to say when you're on a highway. Like, wouldn't you say what city your destination
like,
is?
if you were in the city, that's fair.
Apparently, the cops were pulling them over on purpose to help the FBI in identifying him and looking at his hands. Like, the actual purpose of them pulling him over that one specific time was to look closer at his hands. I mean, very sad circumstances around it, of course,
yeah.
but everybody wanted answers because this story went viral and nobody had an answer. They're like, who, why?
I would just like to point something out too, right at the start. I was very confused. I was like, why did we let this guy fly to Russia? There is a city in Idaho called Moscow as well.
Okay.
So that
makes a lot more sense.
That's the Moscow he's in.
Okay.
I was like, this is ridiculous.
This is really strange.
This guy is the alleged murderer of 4 people, and we let him fly to Russia? So wanted to clear that up.
Got it.
Nude pickleball is gaining popularity.
First of all, pickleball in general is gaining popularity. Sounds like a nightmare for my knees.
No, it's actually not that bad. That's
Really?
why it's gaining popularity.
With older people.
You move a little less.
Okay.
There's a lot of like transition steps. There's a lot of like 1 step up or 2 steps up and then 2 steps back. Kind of think like a smaller court badminton as far as movement goes. So like tennis, you're running, right?
What type of ball is used?
It's like those little white plastic balls with holes in them.
Oh, okay, got it.
And then the rackets are like short plastic or other material, wood I've seen. Yeah, it's really fun. I was on a stag in Phoenix and we had pickleball courts in the backyard at the house we rented.
Did you do it naked?
We didn't, but almost. The theme of that party was Speedos. So we played and it was so hot that like it was 4 dudes on the court at all times in Speedos.
Hot.
So pretty much naked.
Yeah, it seems to be gaining popularity, like I said, with older people that can just continue to do active things and play sports. But it's also younger generations are getting into it, like
fun.
You and your friends. Tom Brady has invested in an entire pickleball team or, I don't know, company.
Yeah.
A lot of
League.
celebrities are. Who else has?
Now, there was another
Serena Williams.
professional athlete. Yeah, maybe it's
A couple of them. Anyway, so now people are doing it naked. And I guess it wouldn't be that difficult if there's less bouncing around. I would not be, well, first of all, I'd never be interested in the first place. But if I had to do a sport naked, pickleball would most likely be the answer.
Yeah. Watching, let's just say like not super smoke shows naked, play just your average person? Because I think if you're that hot, you could play any sport naked and it
Anything.
would be sexy.
Like, imagine a hot person playing pool naked.
So hot.
Basketball, hot.
When they like bumping back up into you.
Yeah,
before,
bump,
hot.
bump. Yeah.
As far as like your average looking person goes, pickleball is probably one of the better sports to watch and play naked. I'm trying to think of the worst. Volleyball would be really weird because people are like going up to block.
When they're diving.
As they go up to block or spike, I'm just picturing everything going up with it and then coming down at the same time. And there's two people like at the net together, airborne. It would be weird.
What would hurt the most?
Long jump.
Baseball would be up there because you have to slide on the gravel. Mm-hmm. Hockey would be cold.
Yeah, no guy would want to be out there.
Heck no.
The girls wouldn't mind that one.
Look great.
Prince Harry revealed that he was physically attacked and knocked to the floor by his brother, Prince William, during a confrontation in 2019.
They were fighting. Story of your life, hey, Ryder?
You got in a push fight with your brother? Oh, no. Like, that's just
It's a common occurrence.
100%. I remember standing in the box of a truck when we were supposed to be cleaning out a shed, and my brother and I got at it because I think I called him I said he looked like a gopher, and he really didn't like that. And we stood about 3 feet apart swinging hockey sticks at each other.
Oh, that's nice.
And these weren't like the new sticks, like graphites, light, that you'd take a blow, maybe get a little cut. These were like 32-pound goalie sticks we were swinging at each other. Like, we could have killed one another. Luckily, they were only about 2 feet long.
Okay, but have you had a fist fight in your 30s? Because I'm pretty sure that's the difference between Harry and William's fight and you and your brothers at the age of like 7.
I feel like we're pretty level dudes, so no, we have not fought in our adult life.
Would you fist fight a brother if he came at you and said your partner was abrasive, difficult, or would you just be like, yeah, you're right?
High five.
So when I was about 7, my sister was 3. I cut off her eyelashes.
Okay. What do you got for us?
When I was about 12 years old, my sister was 15. I was sitting on the floor next to the TV watching my show. She comes into the living room and says, "Turn it to this channel." And I said, "No." She was eating. She brought her food into the living room. She said, "Turn it or I'm going to throw my fork at you." And I said, "No, that's cool. I'm good." She whips it at me. The fork gets stuck into my knee.
What?
Yeah, that's how hard she whipped it at me. That being said, we're like best friends now, but
You still have nightmares when you go to Olive Garden together?
I bring it up all the time. I'm like, "Don't whip that fork at me," right? Like, we're supposed to dinner, or I'll bring it up in a conversation with people, and they're like, "No," and I'm like, "Look at the scar."
Linda says, I was jumping on my bed when I was a kid. My little sister came in to bother me. I kept telling her to leave, but she wouldn't listen. She climbed on my bed and started jumping. So I pushed her off and she broke her arm. More recently, I love that there's still fights like to this day. More recently, she kept hitting my sunburn. So I turned around and smacked her face. She walked away with her mouth wide open. I'm 42. It felt so good. I don't know if I could hit one of my sisters at this age. We never got into fist fights, like maybe a couple wrestling matches.
Okay.
But there was never blood.
No.
And it was more of
Hair pulling?
verbal abuse.
Okay.
We were really mean to each other.
Was it like in your adult life, have you ever had an altercation where you guys were like jumping on the bed
Ryder.
and having a pillow fight?
In your underwear?
No, I wasn't going to say that.
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Sibling rivalry stories. Cheryl texted in saying, my brother got away with everything and he still does to this day. 41 years old, still lives with my parents, jobless, isn't even trying either. I finally snapped after I noticed he wasn't doing any chores or putting away the dishes. So I snapped and I started throwing them at him.
Sometimes you need a wake-up call like that. Good for you.
Sometimes you need a bowl to the head.
Yeah, I wonder what dish it was that she threw. Because like
a plate.
A small plate, big deal.
Probably a big dirty plate that he hadn't washed after dinner.
Steak knife, you could be going to jail.
Yeah.
Okay, so my sisters and I had 2 older sisters, and we actually came to Edmonton on a family trip. We're from BC, so it was a big thing to go to West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah.
My parents thought it would be a good idea to leave the 3 of us in the amusement park. My oldest sister had promised to take me on the roller coaster. I was a big roller coaster fan. She backed out, said she couldn't go because she was wearing a skirt. And I got really upset and, had a little bit of a hissy fit. and I went to storm off, and she grabbed me. She meant to grab me by my back, but actually grabbed me by my hair, whipped me around, and like slapped me in the face. And I was so angry. Just retaliation. I was the biggest tomboy. I just punched her in the face.
So you got into a full-on brawl in Galaxyland?
Yeah, between like sisters and parents aren't around. So when my parents eventually came and picked us up, I had a red hand on my face, and my sister had a black eye.
That's an awesome story. Good for the memory books, eh?
Sarah wrote in saying, when I was younger, my sister never wanted to hang out with me, but I always wanted to be her friend. We were 6 years apart. One night she was with her friends outside the front door, and I was trying to get out. She slammed her hand into the glass part, which shattered all over me. I ended up having to go to the hospital because I had glass in my eye.
Oof.
She ran away from home and never apologized. We still aren't friends.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Can't somebody pick up the phone there?
Not Sarah.
Well,
She had glass in her eye.
yeah, but
It's dangerous.
it was an accident.
No, it wasn't.
Well,
Kind of.
It was an accident.
But still, be nicer to your siblings.
Me and my sister were in the backyard of a friend's house, and, just typical sibling stuff. We were playing with, like a piñata bat, and I must have irritated her in some way, shape, or form because she come at me. I went to go get away from her. I tripped over a deck, fell over a railing, and broke my arm.
Oh, no. Did she hit you after you were down?
Oh, yeah. She tried to jump on me. It was quite painful.
Have you checked out Kaleidoscope yet?
So basically, it's a show on Netflix where they randomize the episodes, but everybody gets the same last episode.
So I think there are 8 episodes, and so there's like 50,000 different combinations you can watch it in, which is pretty insane. But it's a cool concept. It hasn't really hooked me yet. In January, though, I'm just looking through some of the stuff that's coming, and there looks like there's going to be some deadly shows, including The Last of Us. This is the HBO show that was filmed in Edmonton. I'm really excited for this.
I watched the trailer and I could even see some background shots that I was like, that's Edmonton.
I even downloaded the game for my PS4, and I'm trying to get into it because I just want to feel like I'm
Part of something.
in the know. I'll be like, oh, that's when this happened. So I can go full hipster on you when you're trying to watch the show.
For sure.
That'll be awesome.
Can somebody confirm if this is true? Ted Lasso season 3 is supposed to be streaming on Apple TV as of February 29th this year. I know that they were filming it in March of 2022. So why are you smiling like that?
Well, I feel like I can confirm
Oh, am I wrong?
that that's not going to happen.
Why? There's already a season 3.
What date is it supposed to be coming out again?
Oh, somebody's trolling me.
February 29th?
It doesn't exist.
Not this year, it doesn't. Just on leap years. And this
It's
year,
not a leap year.
No. At least you got your answer.
You know what? I'm really happy that I even started that without too much confidence. I was like, can somebody confirm this?
Yeah.
It's like something just seemed off, but I couldn't pinpoint it.
I am so lucky, and all the world comes is my apple.
I am so lucky. Everything always works out for me. So we introduced this to our listeners yesterday. If you're tuning in for the first time, you got to say it to yourself every single day and just watch the positive changes in your life.
I'm so lucky. Everything always works out for me.
You have to say it out loud.
And believe it.
And believe it. Caller 7 today for the 1K word play. Lavon said it worked for her.
Mm-hmm. She manifested it.
She manifested getting through as caller 7, and it worked.
Unbelievable.
It worked for Ryder as well on day 1 of him saying it to himself, which was yesterday.
And I brought up that I wish I would have used this yesterday, is let me break it down. I went into Trail Appliances to search for a new oven. Mine is from 1975.
1934, but okay.
And I'm renovating my kitchen, and I was, just looking around. And then I see this one, and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. I really like this one. But let's go check out what else is in the store. I brought you with me for a second opinion. By the time I came back to the one that I liked the best, that I was probably going to buy, which was discounted already because it was a floor model.
Yeah.
Some guy was standing there. He had just bought it. And I'm like,
You were 2 seconds too late.
yeah.
And so yesterday on the show, Ryder's upset about it. He's got to go look at other ones. Bummed out, knowing that that's the one he wanted. And I said, it's still going to be there. And you're like, that's crazy. We watched it get sold. Like the sold sticker was on it. I was like, you are so lucky. Everything always works out for you. What do you know? We walk in yesterday. Sold sign is gone.
Guy didn't want it because it was a gas oven, and he thought it was a dual when he put the offer on it.
He wanted the electric oven with the gas on top.
Yeah.
Which is more popular.
Sure.
So,
but I'm okay with cooking with gas.
Apparently it's bad for your lungs.
Well, I'm not
There's
as
new
worried about that.
studies out.
It's bad for baking, too, and I'm not much of a baker, so...
So you don't care.
It's not as good for baking because you can't be as precise. Anyway.
So I look at Ryder when we're there yesterday and I said, you are so lucky. Everything always works out for you. And the glimmer in his eye. I'm telling you, everybody try it. Just try it and watch the positive changes happen. Congrats on your new oven.
1 for 1. Let's see what happens today.
Yeah.
So don't call 911 if it's not an emergency. We should all know that. I do give the exemption to kids that are confused by the whole concept. But after you're like 8, you should know. You don't call 911 unless it's an emergency, right?
So every year, the authorities compile a list of the unnecessary calls that they got throughout that year. So we have the top list.
The top 10, yeah.
The top 10 from 2022.
At number 10, someone cut in line at the car wash.
Okay, but that is the worst.
Number 9, someone called 911 because they had a broken window wiper, like windshield wiper. You should be calling if that's the case.
I know.
You've had broken windshield wipers for about 6 years.
It's actually worse to try and wash the grit off of my window. You can't see anything. You got to drive like Ace Ventura.
Not safe at all.
No.
Somebody's going to be calling 911 because you...
I have my head out the window.
Yeah. Number 8, somebody called, remember the Rogers nationwide outage?
I thought you were going to say Rogers wrapped in red event. I was going to throw my pen at your face.
Yeah, I actually called 911 about that.
Everybody should.
No.
Oh.
Don't say that.
Okay. It is a crime, though. That commercial is terrible. Okay, sorry. Again, what was it?
The huge outage that they had?
Yes, where nobody's phone was working.
Yeah, somebody called 911 about that. Number 7, their phone was stuck in a bench. Don't know how they called. I guess they went and got another phone. Complaining about children drawing with chalk at a playground is number 6.
Well, what were they drawing?
I don't think, no matter what they were drawing, except for maybe like hate propaganda, I don't think that's a 911 worthy call.
What about body parts?
Still not 911. Like maybe you yell at their parents to come over and stop them. At number 5, someone was using their garbage bin.
The other day, I almost did that. There wasn't room in the garbage bin, and I was like, you know what? The neighbors have been gone for a while. I bet theirs isn't full. And I was so close to putting garbage in it.
What did you do instead?
I brought it to work, and I put it in the work garbage. But listen, I don't do that often. But I was worried. I was like, would somebody call the cops on me if I did this? Would you be mad if your neighbor, if you watched your neighbor come over, look in your garbage, if it's already on the curb, it's not full, and they put their garbage in? I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't call the cops. I might take off my shirt and yell at them.
Why would you take your shirt off?
Well, just to be extra intimidating.
What is this, Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah, exactly. At number 4, someone wasn't picking up after their dog. Super annoying. Not a 911 worthy call, though. Once again, these are the top 10 worst things people called 911 about this year.
Would you pick up that person's dog poop and swing it around your head in the poop bag and throw it at them, though?
With my shirt off.
I've always wanted to do that, but I've never seen somebody not pick up their dog poop. So keep up the great work, Edmontonians.
People were playing basketball on a public court, but it was nighttime.
Completely valid.
To call 911 about that? No.
I would want a police officer to go and shut that down. Do you know how annoying it is to hear a basketball dribbling at any hour?
At a public court, unless it's there's a sign up that says they're not allowed, and then you don't call 911, you would just call police or yell at them to stop.
You just said call police. Is that not the same thing?
No, I don't think 911 is for emergencies.
Well, you learn something new every day. I didn't know there was a separate phone number to call a cop.
Okay, there is.
Anyone else today years old learning this?
Well, you can call the police.
Yeah, 911.
The cop shop and say hey, there's something that I'd like dealt with, but it's not an emergency.
I'm sorry. I thought the cops only had one phone number.
No. Number 2, they had a flat tire. You should probably be calling a tow truck company. Yeah.
That's great.
Number one, the nozzle wasn't working at the gas station.
Can't you just go inside and talk to the employee?
You would
and
think.
even they would be like, I can't help you.
Right.
I will make minimum wage.
Why don't you pull up 3 feet and try the next nozzle?
The Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
Play 107.